Parshas Mishpatim, Shabbos, Parsha Shekalim. Once we begin the Arba Parshiyos, you know what's going on. You know that we're coming very close to Purim. And once we're close to Purim, we're very close to Pesach. So this is the first week of the Arba Parshiyos. And in our Parsha this week, most of the Parsha discusses different laws, different rules and regulations of damages, different things that we need to know what it means to be an upstanding citizen, to pay for things that you damage, etc. But then there's another very interesting pasuk in the Parsha, and we're going to speak a little bit about this pasuk, very, very interesting thing. And the pasuk tells us, Ve'anshe kodesh tiyun li, that you should be holy people. Ve'anshe kodesh tiyun li. And the Mechilta says that what Hashem is telling us here in this pasuk, by the words of Ve'anshe kodesh tiyun li, the Mechilta says that Hashem is telling us that if you are Kedoshim, if you are holy, then you are mine. V'anshe kodesh, if you're holy people, tiyun li, then you'll be mine. And the diuk, obviously, is from the seemingly extra word of li. The pasuk could have just said, V'anshe kodesh tiyun. The pasuk says, V'anshe kodesh tiyun li, that if you are kodesh, then Hashem, Kaviyachal, is saying that then you're mine, then you'll be my nation. The pasuk, we know, when the pasuk tells us about Kedusha, it speaks about Kedusha many different ways and many different things in the Torah. But the word li, over here, the word li tells us that if you really want to be connected to and to be close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then you need to have Kedusha. Kedusha is a requisite. Kedusha is very important. And Hashem sent us that message as a lead-up to Kabbalah HaTorah also. Last week's Parsha, V'atem tiyu li, mamleches koyanim v'goy kodosh. Once again, we see that it's talking about that we should be people that are holy. And v'atem tiyu li, here too, it would seem that the word li might be superfluous. But the same message that we said, the message is clear over here too. That Hashem is telling us that if you want to be mine, you want to belong to me, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you want HaKadosh Baruch Hu to feel like you are Kaviyachal, a member of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's people, you want HaKadosh Baruch Hu to look after you as if you are one of His, then you need to be Mamleches Koyanim V'goy Kodosh. And the Mefarshim actually, they give different translation as what it means, what Mamleches Koyanim means, what the word Koyanim means. Rashi says that Koyanim are like Sorim. They're dignitaries. We are dignitaries, we're different, we're a higher class of people that Hashem chose us as the chosen nation, and He thereby told us, listen, since you are the chosen nation, you need to act in a more dignified manner than any other nation, than any other person, than any other group. And that's what you are. Mamleches Koyanim the Goy Kodosh. The word Koyanim over here, not meaning as Koyanim, Leviim, and Yisraelim. Koyanim means that you're more dignified. You are a dignified nation. That our behavior is on a more elevated level. It is a behavior that befits royalty and a higher class. And that's who we are. Mamleches Koyanim, the Goy Kodosh. They're really, essentially, Hashem is telling us that we should have no connection to the low-class behavior that is going on all around us in the world. Everybody wants these days especially, you want to belong, you want to feel that you're part of it, that you're part of society. The Torah tells us the opposite. You look what's going on in the world, and you see what's going on in the world, and you ignore it. And you act differently because you are a dignitary. You can't act in the same low class as we know. You look around the world, things keep getting lower and lower and lower, and more crazy and more strange and everything. And unfortunately, people get pulled in along with it. People come along and say, what do you mean? We live with them. We need to be like them. Our parsha, the Torah is saying, no, that's not the way you act. Specifically, the Anshe Kodesh Tiyun Li, V'yatem Tiyuli, Mamleches Koine V'goy Kodesh, that if you want to be mine and you want me to take care of you, Hashem is saying that you have to be different. You have to separate yourself from the Goyim, be holier, be more dignified. And like we said, we find so many times in the Torah that we are instructed about Kedusha. And as we know from Parshas Kedoshim, where it speaks about Kedusha a few times, the Mefarshim tell us, Rashi tells us that Kedusha is referring to Kadesh Atzmacha B'Murtalach. We're not discussing about the mitzvahs and the isurim that are explicit in the Torah. That goes without saying. When we refer to and we speak about Kedusha, we're talking about acting in a different way, acting in a higher way with things that are actually mutter, with things that you are allowed to do. How do you walk? How do you eat? How do you talk to somebody else? How do you behave when you interact with other people? Things that you're not going to find necessarily in the Torah. You're not going to find it explicitly written in the Shulchan Aruch. But yet we are different. We have to act different. Hashem made a condition with us. Like we said, you want to be mine, you need to act accordingly. You have to act in a higher way, not like everybody else in the world. It's a condition, Nesivos Shalom uses a lashon of, it's a condition of Yadus. It's a condition of Judaism. You want to call yourself a Jew, then you need to act like a Jew. You don't act, you don't mingle with, and you don't find yourself part of a group of all the other different groups in the world. A requisite, a condition of Yadus is Kedusha. And the Nesivos Shalom says that, and he says it many times, really that the tachlis of the entire Torah is the one mitzvah, the tachlis of the whole Torah, and the Taryag mitzvahs is the one mitzvah of Uvoy Sidbak. That all the 613 mitzvahs are 613 different pathways to accomplish the mitzvah of Uboy Sidbak, being close to and cleaving to Hashem, to be Makayim, that special mitzvah of connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the lesson tonight to us in our parsha is that the essential way of going about it, how do we find ourselves closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? It's to act differently. More Kedusha. That's really the only way to be Li. And when Hashem tells us the word Li, you want to be mine, you want to be close to me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying that's the ultimate way to come to Uboy Sidbak. And everything, all 613 mitzvahs are ways and pathways to come closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That when HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us that this is what's going to make you be part of me, be close to me, be one with Hashem, that's a very good hint, and that's a really good piece of advice to every one of us. The Nesivos Shalom brings also from the Sefer Shomer Emunim in the Hakdama, and he talks about, he's discussing over there very holy people who learn Toras HaNistar, they learn Kabbalah. And he says about these people, interestingly, he says about these people that spend their time learning Kabbalah, that there are two psukim that they always speak about. There are two psukim that many of the Kabbalistic, at that time, whatever Kabbalistic lessons are based on. And those two psukim are, pasuk number 1, in Seder Devarim, the Asisa Hayashar V'Hatoiv Beinei Hashem, that a person should do, and it's not being specific what to do right there. A person should do that which is straight and good in the eyes of Hashem. That's what we're instructed to do. And the next pasuk that they speak about is a pasuk of Kedusha, the pasuk of Kedoshim Tiyu. And really, these psukim include all the things that the Torah does not explicitly command us. You know, when we talk about different ways that a person should be a mensch, how to act, bein adam lachaveroi, bein adam lamokaim, how to act like a mensch, how to do things, the Torah doesn't explicitly many times tell you. So we have those two psukim tells us how to act, lifnim mishuras hadin. One pasuk is a command of the Asisai Yashar V'Atoiv, is a command for bein adam lachaveroi, to act lifnim mishuras hadin bein adam lachaveroi. Just when you think you know, when you interact with your fellow man, when you interact with people, do things v'asisai yashar v'atoiv, do things lifnim mishuras hadin. Always try to do more for your friends. Act in a better way. Always try to do more than is really expected. And the other pasuk of Kedoshim Tiyu, that refers to bein adam lamokaim. To be mekadesh, as we mentioned, mekadesh atzmacha b'muterlach, to go lifnim mishuras hadin too, there, that even if it's not written explicitly in the Torah, even if it's not written explicitly in the Shulchan Aruch, things that are not, quote, technically usher from the Torah, we need to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu demands more of us, that if we want to be people of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if we want to be like in our parsha of the Anshe Kodesh Tiyum Li, then we have to know that we need to grow and elevate ourselves to be connected to Hashem in that way, by doing lifnim mishuras hadin in Kedusha, of doing more than is expected for us. We need to concentrate on these two areas. And really, the entire parsha, if you think about it, the entire parsha of all these laws of damages, all these laws about what a person shouldn't do, not to hurt another people, the lesson that is being learned over here is how careful a person has to be. And we're not saying not just to follow the letter of the law, but also to follow the spirit of the law. Kadosh Baruch Hu is saying that if you want to be my people, you have to do things lifnim mishuras hadin. You have to add kedusha to your life. It's part of Yadus, like we said. It's part and parcel of what sets us apart from the rest of the world. And really, a little bit, Parshas Mishpatim, you know, we went through, you go through the whole Bereshit, you go through Shemois, and then there's the Avois, the Imois, and the Gulas Mitzrayim, and then Kriyas Yamsuf, Aseres Adibrais. This week, some people, you come to this Parsha, and there's again a double this week. Besides double, also Shabbos Mevorchim, Chodesh Adar, a very really exciting Shabbos. But you look at the Parsha, you look at Parshas Mishpatim, right away either you have good memories or nightmares about Masechtas Bava Kama when you're sitting in yeshiva, and it's very I don't want to use the word dry, but you think it's dry. But if you take apart the Parsha and you realize Hashem is giving us all these lessons and all these advice, telling you that I want you to be close to me, and this is the way to come close to me, by behaving in the right way, by being different, by being responsible. Sai bein adam lamokaim and sai bein adam lachaveri. Let's learn the lessons of this week's Parsha, and it's not dry anymore. It's alive. The Torah is alive, and it's teaching every one of us lessons for our lives.